So Bhagwan then goes on to explain the nature of the gunas. So here, the first guna is called sattva, which is purity. The second guna is called passion, rajas, and the third guna is tamas, inertia. Sattva, rajas, tamas. Purity, passion, inertia. And these are the attributes of nature. Remember, these are attributes of nature, but they also apply to our own matter, body, and the mind and the intellect. These qualities, the gunas, almighty arm, born of Prakriti, bind the indestructible embodied one. Very important to remember this. When these gunas are the ones which are born of Prakriti, it is as if, of course, the imperishable, indestructible cannot be bound, but as if it binds this embodied one into the body, mind, intellect, fast in the body. Fast in the body, of course, mind and intellect as well. He gets stuck, bound. And this is one of the other meanings of the guna, is it is like a rope, binding rope. So once the embodied one begins to experience the body, mind, intellect, it gets bound up in this limited way in the body, mind, intellect. It gets bound up in space, in time, in causality. So this is what happens, is that the gunas, the play of the gunas, makes the indestructible, the Brahman, embodied one, to be bound in this body, mind, intellect. So you can now imagine what the task is going to be, is to unbind ourselves, which I have already pointed out. So here we go again. So Brahman, these are the three ropes. And the imperishable, the indestructible one, the indestructible in Prakriti, the three gunas, the three ropes that bind, sattva, rajas, tamas, they bind the imperishable into I am this. This is now my immediate experience. As Brahman gets bound into this form of this body, mind, intellect, it binds this imperishable, which is here and now in this body, mind, intellect. I say to myself, I am this body, mind, intellect. This is me. This is mine. And therefore, this is the kind of scheme, this process which is taking place because of avidya, because of maya. Because of maya and avidya, I am this is me, this is mine. That is the net effect of this descent of Brahman into Prakriti. Consciousness arising in matter. This is the net effect. I am this is me, this is mine. And what we have to do, again, is unbind ourselves through the techniques given by Bhagwan and then transcend the gunas. So here's sattva. Of this sattva, which because of its stainlessness, now this is the description of each one of the gunas, which because of its stainlessness, purity, luminosity and healthy. It is luminous, it is healthy, unobstructive. It does not obstruct anything. And it is pure, it is stainless, without any stain, nirmala. And because it is without stain, it is pure, it is taken to be luminous, it is taken to be healthy. But it does bind. This is the important thing to remember. It does bind. How does it bind? It binds by attachment to happiness, attachment to knowledge. So all of you are here today because of your sattvic guna being predominant at this moment. What has made you to decide to come here? Because the predominance of the sattvic guna, which you say, I love this knowledge. I feel happy when I hear this knowledge. I want to hear it again and again. And this actually is one way of binding. Although this is a good way of binding. This is a good attachment to have, because this is the attachment which is going to take us further into our journey. So luminosity, healthiness, unobstructiveness, purity, this is what sattva represents, and it binds by happiness and the attachment to knowledge. The next one, rajas, of the nature of passion. Passion means this energy, this drive to get things, activity, thirst and attachment. There's this thirst. I want to do this. I want to get this. I want to get this thing done. I want to acquire this in my life. I want to have this in my life. There is a thirst in all of us, which is the expression of rajas. It wants us to go out into the world through action, through our passion, get things in our life. This thirst and attachment comes from this guna, and it says it binds fast by what? Attachment to action. So attachment to action means what? It means by doing things in this world, I will be getting something. By doing things in the world, I will be expressing my desire. When I express my desire, I will get the object of my desire. And I will become happy once I get this object of my desire. And once I become happy, I become attached to the object of my desire. See how wonderful Bhagavad Gita is in terms of understanding the psychology of the individual. So my next series of talks are going to be on this psychology of the Bhagavad Gita. Anyway, so coming back to this idea that this passion which is there, this thirst which is there, which is pushing me to go out into the world of names and forms, that is the thirst, causes the attachment, and it is causing attachment through action. The third one, tamas, is born out of ignorance. I don't know, I don't want to know. Some people say, don't bother me, I don't want to know. That is a tamasic response. Deluding all embodied things. So it works at two levels. One is that it is completely making me unaware of my true nature. I don't even believe in spirituality. Forget about that. What I see is what I believe in. This is tamas. It deludes us into thinking that there is nothing beyond what I can see. There is nothing I can believe which can exist beyond what I perceive. This is the way in which tamas works. What does it do? It binds fast by heedlessness, indolence, and sleep. So it's just laziness, inadvertence, heedlessness, wants to be asleep, want to be sleeping all the time. Even in the waking state, asleep to the knowledge, asleep to the truth, asleep to the awareness which is shining there. I don't want to know. This is tamas. So you can see these three gunas are a way of expressing our attachment and the way in which we get attached. And at each level, we can see that attachment is to different things according to the play of the gunas. And what we need to do is to recognize all these things which are going on so that we can begin to identify the gunas. So here's the table. So I'll make it easy for you. Sattva guna, stainlessness, luminosity, healthy, binding through knowledge and happiness. Rajas, passion, thirst, attachment, binding through action again. Tamas, ignorance, heedlessness, indolence, sleep. So just keep that in mind because this is going to help you to analyze yourself, to know where you are. Sattva attaches to happiness, rajas to action, while tamas verily shrouding knowledge. It is shrouding everything away and telling us there is nothing there. It attaches to heedlessness. In other words, don't even pay attention to anything. This is how the gunas are in their nature. This is how they function and how they bind us in our body, mind, intellect. Remember, the binding is taking place in the body, mind, intellect. And binding is about what? It's about identification and attachment, the me and the mind. This is the net result. And therefore, we have to try and travel back in the reverse direction by identifying the gunas and knowing what they are doing. So